Hello, this is Rika, an electric workshop learning guide. Check the operation test for each PLC pattern and the result through Arduino. You can check the simple operation simulator configuration on the left side of the screen and the PLC input and output configuration on the right side. A brief description of today's time chart pattern. In order to start the first time chart, there must be SSA input and no SSB input. Timer T0 part is a configuration for users to turn on and off at 1-second intervals in common for push-button PBA and PBB operation. Timer T0 is commonly used from lamps PLA to PLE for each pattern when the user presses and releases the push-button PBA or PBB. Push-button PBA self-holding internal relay M2. PBB self-holding internal relay is M12. Here, M2 and M12 are configured through internal relay inversion. And push-button PBA, PBB operation is composed of post-input priority interlock. And in order to give each repeat cycle by timer T1 and T4, they are connected to each B contact in series. Timer T0 repeats on and off for 1 second every 2 seconds, and at this time, it gives a signal to M1 internal relay. Now, let's take a look at each PBA, PBB button operation below. When the user presses and releases the push-button PBA, the internal relay M2 is self-holding and timers T1 and T2 start to operate. The period of timer T1 is 9 seconds, and timer T2 is 5 seconds. And below that timer T3 will be 4 seconds. The total cycle is 9 seconds, and timer T2 5 seconds and timer T3 4 seconds are given. When timer T2 has elapsed for 5 seconds, timer T3 is activated. Internal relay M3 to M11 sends operation signals from lamp PLA to PLE. And the front part of each internal relay is turned on and off at 1-second intervals by M1, which receives the operation signal by timer T0. The push-button PBB below works similarly to the PBA. A total period of 9 seconds of the timer is allocated to T4, and 5 seconds to each timer T5 and 4 seconds to T6. The operation method is the same as the push-button PBA operation. However, in order to distinguish the lamp output part, the internal relay sends signals in the reverse order. Internal relay M13 to M21 sends the operation signal from lamp PLE to PLA. Now let's look at the second time chart pattern. To start the second time chart, there must be no SSA input and SSB input first. Users can enter push-button PBA, PBB counter. The PBB input must be greater than the PBA input. Also, there must be at least one PBA input. Internal relay M23 has the corresponding signal value. If the corresponding condition is satisfied, the range is specified through the calculated value. In the time chart, the position of the lamp in step 5 from the lamp PLA to the PLE is according to the push-button PBA, PBB input. The number of PBA input means the starting point and the number of PBB input means the destination. When the calculation part is finished, the operation starts when the user presses the push-button PBC. And when the operation is started by the push-button PBC, it is processed so that the push-button PBA and PBB inputs are not received by the internal relay M25. Below, the D0. D1 memory part comparison operation with the start part and the timer T7 time zone according to the result are defined. And the operation is stopped by the selector switch SSC. And all stored input values and calculation results are initialized. The output results of time chart 1 and time chart 2 are written below. Those with internal relay MO will be output on time chart 1, and those with internal relay M22 will be the ramp operation output on time chart 2. In today's time chart learning content, we learned about the part where the lamp turns on and off repeatedly at 1-second intervals through the push-button PBA and PBB, and the start and end parts of the lamp according to the user's input. Now let's start checking the simulation in action. Please also check the time chart change given in the center.
Input on, wiring breaker. Input on, SSA. Press the button, PBA. Release the button, PBA. Press the button, PBB. Release the button. PBB. Press the button. PBA. Release the button. PBA. Press the button. PBB. Release the button. PBB. Input on. SSB. Input on. SSB. Press the button. PBB. Release the button. PBB. Press the button. PBA. Release the button. PBA. Input off. SSA. Input on. SSB. Press the button. PBA. Release the button. PBA. Press the button. PBA. Release the button. PBA. Press the button. PBB. Release the button. PBB. 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 Press the button. PBC. Release the button. PBC. Press the button. PBC. Release the button. PBC. Input on. SSC. Input off. SSC. Press the button. PBA. Release the button. PBA. Press the button. PBB. Release the button. PBB. 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 Press the button. PBC. Release the button. PBC. Press the button. PBC. Release the button. PBC. Input on. SSC. Input off. SSC. Input off. SSB. Input off. Wiring breaker.
World of Rika. Thanks for watching. Please refer to learning. Subscribe check.